Now, Michael, I don't know if you've seen Tom Brady's new contract, the $37 million a year he's going to be making with Fox. That's kind of the same ballpark that you're going to be making as the director of basketball ops, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think I'm right around that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad to hear it. I wish I was in that.
Even
same
in pesos, that would be a good deal, right?
So give us a glimpse to what your job's been the last couple years as the director of basketball recruiting and the assistant director of basketball ops. And I know you taking over for Coach Ruta's spot as he transitions to a full-time assistant coach. What is your day-to-day, and I know it changes based on what's going on, but what does it look like, in your opinion, moving forward?
Yeah, so, I mean, as director of recruiting, it was a lot of just, keeping in touch with recruits, keeping in touch with families, keeping track of who's on our board, who we're going to, knock off, and then just kind of organizing travel for the assistant coaches and for Coach Muss, kind of who's going where, who needs to see who, when we see the recruits and their families and stuff like that, and kind of just keeping everybody organized. In my new role, I'm lucky enough to actually keep my director of recruiting role with my director of ops role. So I'm kind of just expanding what I've been doing. But it's just going to be more of the day-to-day operational stuff, and then, get into a little bit of game planning. And then as an additional member on the court with the new COVID exception with two extra members on the court, I'll be able to, help our guys during practice and stuff like that when we have an assistant coach or a head coach out on the road recruiting.
Michael, I know you guys are excited for every player that you've got coming in the class of 2022, but the big news that we just got recently about Jordan Walsh, Anthony Black, and Nick Smith is they're invited to that U18 thing coming up with 27 players vying for the USA 12-man ball club. Just kind of talk about kind of what that means to have three guys that could be competing for the United States national team.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we're excited about our entire class, whether it be, our six incoming freshmen or our four transfers that we currently have coming in. And excited about all of them equally. But, yeah, I mean, anytime you can get one, let alone three guys, that can compete to represent the Team USA is just exceptional. And it's a testament to those guys' hard work. And, we're just super proud of those guys and excited to see, what they do. And, it's just kind of once in a lifetime for everybody.
For those listening that don't know what a director of basketball operations does on a daily basis, you went through some of the recruiting, some of the recruiting activities and some of those daily things that you'd roll through. The director of basketball operations, I said earlier during the break, it's likened to being the chief of staff at the White House. I mean, you're the right hand of the coach. Is that an accurate description?
Yeah, that is an accurate description, and just because of Coach Muss and I's relationship, there's been a lot of that already. Just as being his son, just kind of being that one of those trustworthy guys that he can come to, and he knows he can call me at 2 a.m. or 6 a.m. or whatever, and there's not much I can do about it. So I think he uses that to his advantage a little bit. But just expanded role, like I said, kind of being his right hand guy, and then doing a little bit of everything, whether it be being the conduit between the administration or being the conduit between academics and kind of heading up, just keeping track of our guys' academics and compliance things, kind of a little bit of everything.
So how do you know when the phone rings if it's dad calling or the head coach calling? How do you two work that out and balance out being father, son, and then also staff member and head coach?
It's a little bit of both, honestly, all the time, because he's constantly bouncing ideas off me. And the thing about him is, even when I wasn't working for him, and, my little brother knows about this also, he's in school at University of San Diego, but, I mean, he's constantly calling about basketball stuff, and he calls, us after every game asking what we think he could have done better, where we went wrong. And then, I mean, it's basically a little bit of both all the time, and every once in a while we'll talk about some life stuff or talk about what's going on at home. And, being right down the street from him, living in Fayetteville, kind of allows me to know what the day-to-day stuff is going on in his life, and he knows what's going on in mine. So there's always a little bit of father-son stuff going on, but at the end of the day, when we're in the building, it's all business.
How much do y'all finish each other's sentences, anticipate each other's move? How much do you know what the other's thinking that maybe you can get ahead of him every now and then?
Every once in a while. I mean, he's a pretty smart dude, and I think you guys know, but he reads and studies so much that he's always changing everything, whether it be his philosophy, his vocabulary, terminology that we use on and off the court. So he's a tough dude to predict. He's high energy, competitive, so you never really know what's going to happen. But I by now, after 26 years, I have a pretty good idea of it. And I've kind of become the guy on staff that guys can run things through before it gets to coach. And that's been, I think part of the value in me is kind of being the conduit before stuff gets to coach. Hey, should I bring this to coach? Do you think I should change it up a little bit? How's the format? How's it look? Do you think he'll like it? And then make some tweaks and adjustments and then bring it to him maybe sometimes. But, I mean,
you're a filter.
I'm a filter, so to say. But, I have a pretty good idea of what he's going to do usually.
We're talking with Michael Musselman, who's the newest director of basketball operations at the University of Arkansas. Michael, have you been watching Winning Time at all, the HBO on Magic and the Lakers, by chance?
I have not, but Coach talks about it every single day at lunch. That's a topic of conversation. He raves about how good it is, how accurate it is. He actually started to watch it. He thought we were going to have some good family time, sit down and watch it with my little sister and my stepmom. And one of the first scenes came on, and he quickly realized that was not going to be the case. But I have not been following along.
Not a family show.
Not exactly a family show, but a good show.
I don't know if Mariah should be watching it, but how you just described what your job is in a certain aspect is kind of Janine and the late Jerry Buss back in the day, how people would come to her and, do you think your dad will like this, then that? And I think that's what's kind of made you invaluable to this or to the program, is just having that mindset, knowing what your dad's thinking, as Tommy just put. One of the things your dad has told us about you is the additions that you bring as well, is just being a young dude. I mean, you just mentioned 26 years old. You get, you're not exactly in high school, but you're close enough in age, like myself, like we get what certain college kids are thinking, what high school kids. And you look at this past recruiting class, how much do you think that was a part of you guys bringing in the best recruiting class in Arkansas history, just what you were able to add to the table when it comes to recruiting aspects?
Yeah, I mean, as everyone knows, it's a complete team effort on staff, and Coach really allows everyone to get involved in recruiting, whether it be ideas or creating content, different things like that. So it's a team effort for sure, but just kind of vetting some of the stuff, what are we going to send these guys? Do you think they'll like this? Helping Coach Muss with even simple things like vocabulary, like stuff that the kids are saying nowadays. I think that is, kind of where I bring some value. And then just on the content creating side, seeing things online and Coach a lot of times, send me 2, 3, 4 things in the morning when I wake up and say, hey, do you think we can make this happen? Can we create this and send it to, a recruit or a signee or something like this? Can we put this out on Twitter? So just keeping, fresh ideas, I think is part of why Coach loves to bring young guys in, and then, have a big staff just in general. It's just, the broad range of ideas.
I know we're about 112 or 111 days out from college football season, Arkansas playing Cincinnati, and I know you probably got the number to when y'all will tip off your season. I know the schedule hadn't been announced yet officially, but you probably have a good idea of when officially you guys will tip off. There's been so much love thrown your way before y'all have even played a game, and not that you guys haven't gotten love the past 2 years, but you've used the bashing or this team's not going to do this to your advantage. Coach Muss has taken advantage of that. Do you think this next season's going to be different with how highly ranked you guys are going to wind up being in the preseason, kind of like you were in Muss's final season in Nevada?
Yeah, I mean, I think the stakes are raised. It's 2 Elite Eights in a row. We're competing with the best of the best. I mean, you see we play Gonzaga, Duke, obviously Kentucky, Tennessee, Auburn in our league. I mean, the stakes are high, and with the number 2 recruiting class in the high school recruiting class and the number 1 transfer incoming recruiting class, obviously, like I said, the stakes are raised. And, with all these way too early polls coming out, us ranging anywhere from about 1 to 6 in the country, we know the stakes are going to be high, and we're excited about it. But our staff, our building, our players, everyone in our building is about competition, and that's what we thrive off of. So we're extremely excited about the opportunity to compete at the top.
Michael, as director of recruiting, how do you balance looking at the transfer portal and figuring out how many players you want to get from it, and then also the high school recruiting and bringing in high school players. What's the conversations like, and how do you and Coach figure out the balance between portal and the high school route?
It really changes every year. Sometimes it's only transfers. Sometimes it's a lot of high school guys, as we saw in the 2020 class with Moses. And it's just ebbs and flows. I mean, we've seen throughout college basketball, just with the change in rules, even in the last 4 or 5 years, just the landscape has changed so much. And we don't really say, hey, we're going to take this many high school guys or this many transfers. We go after the best available guys, and we try to get whoever we think wants to be a Razorback, and we kind of just pinpoint those guys and then go from there. It's not necessarily a numbers game, but obviously you like to balance a little bit of experience with a little bit of fresh, new young guys, and so it's just kind of ebbs and flows each year.
How has NIL and name, image, likeness changed the job you do? How has it changed the job your dad and the others recruiting has done for Coach? I mean, how have those conversations changed throughout the process?
Yeah, I mean, for us, the process doesn't change a whole lot, just because we don't really talk about it in recruiting. We can say, hey, these are the deals our guys have gotten in terms of, they've gotten a deal with this company or that company, and there's opportunities in Fayetteville. Obviously, you guys know, and the fans know, and everybody knows that there's an incredible amount of support, whether it be from the fans, from the media, from local businesses and companies and stuff like that. And so it doesn't change a whole lot, just showing the deals our guys have gotten and stuff like that. But obviously, the relationship that we have with the local community and the relationship that we have with the local companies obviously is just super extremely important, and it's always been important to us. But with this new NIL rule, it's just a whole lot more important now.
Michael, last thing for me, I know that basketball consumes probably 99% of your life, your family. There's other parts. Do you have any extracurricular hobbies when you're not in the Eddie Sutton practice facility or Bud Walton area? What do you like to do, man, outside of basketball?
Yeah, we spend quite a bit of time in here, holidays and stuff like that, but that's not just us. That's kind of this profession across the board. I would say getting outside, riding motorcycles, whether it be when I'm in San Diego, a little bit of surfing, a little bit of wakeboarding out here on the lake, kind of just getting outside. That's kind of what I like to do.
Yeah. All right, last one. As you were going through dealing with your dad and the shoulder issue, what was the worst moment having to deal with him as he was recovering or dealing with that shoulder this year?
Oh, I mean, I'm not proud to admit it, but there were road trips where I had to go up there and help him get dressed in his hotel room. I mean, that's not one of my prouder moments, but I guess that's one of the perks of having your son on staff is you got a built-in helper.
Yeah, so I'm glad he's recovering well. Michael, thanks for your time, and congratulations on the promotion.
Thanks so much. Thank you guys for having me on.
And tell your dad you need a big, big raise.
I will.
All right, Michael Musselman, the new Director of Basketball Operations for Arkansas Basketball, joining us here on the Morning Rush.
Partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.